Why does the ego want to rescue and save? This was an amazing comment from someone that listened to a woman that commented on one of our other videos. And we're going to dive right into this. But first, we want to let you know make sure you watch till the end because Rain is going to pull a beautiful angel card for us to help us guide us through our day and our week. So she'll give that to you at the end. So listen to this episode, it's going to be a good one. And then you'll get that.
Welcome to our channel. I'm Rain, with over 20 years of experience as an NLP practitioner, light worker, and channeler through divine inspiration. Here to help you connect with your true self.
And I'm Mel, an empath, light worker, and connector, passionate about guiding you to set boundaries and thrive.
Together, we bring you weekly tools and insights to support your empath journey.
If you're ready to deepen your connection with self, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Let's dive in. So, Rain, why does the ego feel the need to step in and rescue or save others?
So the ego basically feels purposeless. So you know how we all have this need to have a purpose, to have a purpose, to have a purpose, to have a purpose. It's like this nagging feeling inside. That nagging feeling, actually, I have never heard this before. So the nagging feeling of you have a purpose is actually very egoic. It is not your essence. It is not the truth. It's none of that stuff. It's actually derived from an egoic mind because the ego will have no purpose of being here on planet Earth with the essence of you, your spirit self, unless it has a purpose to do something, to create something, to give itself a meaning for existence because it dies with the body, right? So its only purpose of existence is the time being in which a soul embodies the vessel, okay, and where the ego can be awakened. Its lifespan is very short. It dies with the earth, right? It dies with the body. So it's when all empaths and everyone's like, I have a purpose, I have to fulfill a purpose, a purpose, a purpose. That is the ego mind. Holy crap, I always thought it was my intuition. Okay, I've never heard this before. So the ego mind actually is the program that makes you feel that you're supposed to have a purpose here. And therefore, what happens is your purpose becomes, I must save everybody. What is another way for the ego to say that it is good? Okay, that it is deemed good. What have we been taught that good looks like? You self-sacrifice. You're there for everybody. You uplift everybody. You make everybody feel happy and feel good. So the ego wants to be perceived as good. But the only way it can be good if it does what good is on this 3D level in this world. What does good look like? Good looks like being really friendly to everybody and being super nice. But you can tell the difference when you meet a narcissist. Okay, this is a very good example. You meet a narcissist, they're really nice to you. Okay, but you don't feel their niceness coming into you. Okay, you don't feel it's the essence that is speaking to you. You feel it's something that it's a learned behavior. It is not the true essence. So the ego is learned behavior, okay, of what is deemed in the world to be good and to be bad. Okay, so this need to rescue and save and to have a purpose basically is an egoic structure for the ego to feel that it has some kind of meaning here on the planet. When you tap into your true essence, there is no meaning to be here. There is no purpose at all. The only thing you're supposed to do here is actually experience, taste, feel, breathe this beautiful world that we're in and pay close attention to that. But if you actually only do that, you'll be back in utopia. You'll be back in spirit form because then the ego will die. And without an ego, you can't exist here, which is the I. I need to receive, I need to get, I need to do something. I have to have a purpose, which actually makes it more fun to be here. So the ego mind of rescue and save is only from a space of egoic, which usually stems for empaths from a very intense space of trauma base. Right? If I can rescue my mom or dad from feeling what they're feeling and what they're going through, they're going to be happy. Therefore, I'm going to be safe. It's still an egoic structure, right? It's still serving me at the end of the day. So the ego is the one that wants to save and rescue, or then it'll have no purpose. Okay.
Wow. Dang. Okay. I'm like gonna need to listen to this a couple times
Yes.
to let like really fully sink in. Okay. So then is just a matter of where it doesn't get out of control. Is that where we just need to put time into being like mindful and just coming back to our body, so it's not, we're not running in ego all the time where it's exhausting and it's like do prove all the time to prove you're worthy. Is that you need to balance out, like it's good to have it when it needs to do that because it has a purpose, because it's the mover, the go-getter at just doing stuff, but then also it needs to take a break from to breathe and chill.
Well, when you said the word worthy, the first thing I heard, and honestly, this is such a fantastic episode because all this is new. So, worthy, the ego doesn't feel, I'm getting so many goosebumps, my skin hurts. The ego doesn't feel worthy to be in union with the breath of source that we are, the spark of source. So the ego is the one that never feels worthy and always is trying to prove, like, look, if I do all this, then I might feel worthy that I can come into existence and have this experience and have my partner in this vessel be a spark of source. So the ego doesn't feel worthy of divinity and doesn't feel worthy of your soul living in the same home. Okay. So it wants to constantly feel worthy and prove itself all the time, right? So that is the version of us that's constantly feeling unworthy because it doesn't feel worthy of the soul. Now, as empaths, because we tap in so deeply, what happens is the soul wants to constantly comfort the ego. That's why we always have to go within. That's why we have to pour the light within, because the most scared version of us is the egoic mind that needs a purpose, needs to save, needs to rescue, so it can feel worthy of the light that lives within us. That's why the light within us has to constantly pour light over the egoic mind that's constantly in a state of fear and panic that it's not worthy. That's why we go in and we do the whole I love you. It's okay if you have to rescue or save. I love you even if you don't rescue and save. I love you even if you are ugly. I love you even if you feel unworthy. And that is, we are actually awakening our essence to remember that the essence main purpose, if we want to give it a purpose, is to comfort that egoic mind like a child that's just terrified to be here and doesn't know what it means to be in the presence of your divinity. That's why it's always inner work. That's why it's pouring your light back in. That's why it's more about doing you, because there's a version of you that's just terrified. All versions of you are terrified because they're unworthy. The ego feels unworthy. It has not experienced divinity the way you have experienced this unconditional divinity. It doesn't know it exists, but you're
Wow.
embodied here to let it, to remind it that divinity exists. And I will just show you what unconditional love looks like instead of punish you and hate you and put you in a dark room. And is it making sense?
Yes. So it's just another part of us, another piece of us. When we talk about these parts that come up, it's just another one that just wants to be loved for its version of itself and the purpose that it proves, and that it, or that its need, it's trying to make sure I understand this. Yeah, just it just needs to be like loved and appreciated and seen for its part that it plays,
Like
or
no
what?
pocket of energy could exist if the ego didn't exist. Like there would be no pockets of energy showing up within us if the ego wasn't developed from 0 to 7. So this is when the ego was given birth to. This is right, this is wrong. This is ugly, this is pretty. This is who you should be, this is who you should never be. That's all the growth of in all different pockets. So it's like the ego is the umbrella above the pockets of energies that are feeling all this pain. And it's like taking care of them to make sure that they've done the right thing all the time, right? To impress that spirit that's within us. It's like constantly trying to impress the spirit within us. Like, look, I've been good. I've been good. I've been good. Like that's all it wants to do all the time. But because the egoic mind has been perceived to be like the evil thing, we now are transforming because this is brand new information. Okay. We are transforming at this specific moment to fall madly in love with the ego because it's like teaching it for, and I want to cry because now that I can see what the ego looks like, it's like for the first time ever, there's a human being on this planet that wants to love this ego because religions have fought against it, has called it demonic and the devil. Humans have put it down, all this stuff, and it has never understood what is this light that you're talking about. It hasn't understood it. It's in so much pain. And the only person, like it doesn't matter if you get compliments or left, right, and center, the only being that can let this entity feel divine acceptance and love is you, because it only cares about you. It only cares to receive this from you because you're rooming with it. You're like a roommate,
Wow.
but you've been just so upset at this roommate. Like, why are you so dark and negative? Why do you always put me down? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You know? And it's like, I don't know why you're so upset. I'm just like, I'm comforting you. I'm like trying to make you feel safe. Your purpose, I have a purpose. If it's, what else do you want me to do? And so the end of the game result is letting it just be like, it's okay if you don't have a purpose, but your purpose is to coexist with me and for me to love you. Your only purpose is for you to give me permission to love you. That's your purpose. And that's what our essence is waking up to the realization of.
Wow. So it's just being intentional about just giving love to that part, putting light on it,
To the
letting
whole
it be.
ego, to all of
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not even a part, it's everything. It's like, it's the human body, it's the thoughts, it's all of it is an entity on its own. It's not a pocket of energy. These pockets of
Oh,
energy pop
wow.
out of there. It is the motherboard of the pockets of energies.
Oh,
And so it believes its purpose is to rescue and to rescue and save you, to save you from shame, to rescue you from the beatings of your parents, to teach you, okay, next time somebody talks, you hide, right?
wow.
All the teachings we've had from our young age was the ego learning, like, this is dangerous, pocket of energy. This is what we're going to learn for you. This is what we're going to learn for you. Here you fear. Watch out. I'm here to rescue and save you from this world. So it's like a bigger entity. It's the main source of everything. And it
Yeah,
is terrified.
and it really does connect. The ego connects with everything we do, every relationship, every thought, every whatever. It's a part. It's a part of it. It's all of it. It's yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it clicking? Like,
Ooh,
can you
yes.
see that it's everywhere?
Yeah. Holy cow. This is a huge like perspective paradigm shift that I'm just like really like integrating and soaking in. I might have to listen to this a couple times for real. But okay, so other questions I have for you. Is the desire to rescue or save driven by genuine care, or is it tied to something deeper within ourselves?
Well, it's definitely, if you can see it from the eyes of the ego, it's definitely genuine care, but it's a care from fear, right? I'm afraid of my own shadow, basically. So the ego is afraid of its own shadow. So when you see a narcissist who's just overwhelmed with the ego, there the light, there's nothing. Like the ego can't even see like the roommate, right? The roommate is in the bathroom all the time. Like he doesn't even know there's a roommate, right? That's the ego now in hyperactivity. Protect and save, protect and save. Everyone's an enemy. Everyone's an enemy, right? Pay them back. Kill them. Da, da, da. That's like an overblown, and genuinely caring, but it's caring from such a like an ignorant space that it has no one and nothing but itself to take care of, and it's the only one that's here to take care of this vessel. Or other than that, it's a nightmare. Like it's terrified of the world, right? Because it doesn't have any light inside to like light it up a little bit and be kind to it, so it can be like, is that? Oh. What are you saying? Oh, I'm good. You like how ugly I am and how mean I am? Oh, really? Like there's not even a spark of that light. It's just a dark room. Okay. So yes, of course, it has true desire. Is it worth listening to? Hell no, because it's a terrified version. It doesn't know anything. It doesn't see there's a window you can look out of. There's nothing. It's just pitch dark and it's bumping its head against walls, right? So yeah, tied to something deeper. Yeah, it's tied to all the pockets of energies and the beliefs, right? It just wants to make sure you're safe. So when we go out into the world and we want to save everybody, that's the ego mind that wants you to feel good about who you are. It wants to feel good about itself. See, I'm helping everyone be good like me. I did a good job, but it's not our purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So, how can we tell the difference between helping out of love versus rescuing out of ego?
Helping out of love comes from a very different space within. When there is no thought with helping out of love, there is no, well, let me do this so I can do this, so then I can give them this, or there's no thought. It is a very spontaneous act. You're walking down the street, someone drops a carton of their eggs and they have a whole bag. You won't think, oh, will I help them? If I help them, there's no there's no time gap between the help giving and the inspiration to do it. Your body moves before your brain has time to tell you. Okay. The egoic mind will come in and give you reasons as to why to help, right? And then maybe it'll make you back out and then it'll make you back in. And then there has to be a reasoning behind it to help, right? That's the egoic mind. It will always give you like a pat on the back, like, yeah, it's because you're a really good person. That's why you're doing this. And and karma will come back in good ways for you. And whatever religious stuff that you've learned about doing good and you'll get points from heaven. Or, I'm just such a good person. Therefore, this is why I do this stuff. Like there's conversation, right? That is help that's coming from the egoic mind, and it's not just inspired without thought. I hope these examples are making sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. What underlying fears or beliefs might cause someone to take on the role of a rescuer?
Well, the underlying beliefs is there's something wrong with me. There are many, many different. There's like an identity. There's an identity of, we've all dressed up in this identity. God, I lived in this identity. I'm such a good person. I'm out here to help the world. I'm out here to heal the world. That is an egoic identity. That's an identity, right? So that identity is fear-based because if I don't do that thing, if I can't live up to the one good thing that my ego told me about myself, then I am nothing. So I have to like live up to what my ego told me that is nice about me. Because remember, the ego doesn't say that many nice things. So when it does say one, two, or three nice things, right, you grab onto them for dear life. But it's kind of a manipulation in a way. It's manipulating you to be like, hold on to that to make it an identity. And now it's an egoic identity. It's not even a natural state of being. So it's a fear of if I'm not kind to everybody, because my mom kept saying, you're so kind, you're so kind, you're so kind. So now kind became the thing, right? If I'm not kind, then my ego will show up and be like, oh, now you're horrible, right? And that's the biggest fear is hearing the opposite of what that is, right? Is hearing the opposite of what that is terrifying because neither that nor that are actually true to begin with, right? Because the minute I say I'm such a kind person, it will naturally assume that you are not the same as me. That's a natural assumption of what the ego, because the ego wants to stand out as an identity alone, right? It's protecting you, but it needs to have a form on its own. So the underlying fear is, oh my God, what if I can't stand out? So if you notice, so many people in the world, practically everybody in the world is always advertising for themselves some way, somehow, right? Just to keep that egoic aliveness in there. Because if I can't advertise for myself or my being, what happens is the ego will be crushed because everyone else is advertising. Now I'm going to be lost in the crowd and nobody's going to hear me. But the minute we advertise for ourselves, like I'm such a kind person, or I'm such an empath, or I'm a healer, or whatever identity the ego wants to give me to make me feel better about who I am and to stand out. The minute I do that, I am saying I am better than everyone else. Somehow, some way, I am saying I have more of the healing abilities than anyone else. My kindness is more than everybody else. My heart, my this, my foot, my eye, my something about me is better than everyone else. So that's the ego. And it has to do that because then it won't live. It cannot survive being equal to everyone. It cannot. It has to do that because it tells you so much shit about you, right? It's like a narcissist. It has to tell you some good things for you to maintain it. So let's say you didn't do an act of kindness, but you're known to be kind and you don't do kindness. What is the ego going to do? It's going to rip you a new one, right? Because you have to maintain that expression. It worked so hard to give you your kind. It came like it was like, okay, I'm gonna say you're kind, right? But I want to fix you. So anything you do outside of what kind was dictated to you as, it'll be like, that was so unkind. How did you not help that person's eggs off the floor? What is wrong with you? You are selfish. I didn't think you were selfish. Guilt, shame, guilt, shame, guilt, shame. But I'm very kind. I am so kind. I'm going to do an act of kindness right now so I can bring back my title so I can settle so the ego can shut up for a bit. Is it making sense how it works? It's so like screwed up.
Yeah.
It's so sad how much this ego is putting so much work and effort
Yeah.
for the very short life it lives on this planet and fearing that I will be nothing by the time I die. I have to be something before I leave here.
Uh, Got to be worn out. No wonder it only has a short lifespan. That's like you can only run 100 miles per hour for so long before you come crashing down.
And just like you're always
Wow.
like, I don't know if I'm good. I don't know if I'm bad. I don't know if I'm good. Like sometimes your ego's telling you, Job, look at you. You're so sweet. Look at how nice you were and how much love you gave and how kind you've been. Look at you. Look at you. You're amazing. You're like, oh, I love me. I'm so good. And 3 seconds later, 3 seconds, you're so terrible. Look at you. You're horrible. You don't even know how to blah, 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 blah. And you're like, it's so short-lived. Like it doesn't give you an opportunity to lavish in luxury of the ego feeling so good about itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's like an abusive partner. Mm.
Like this love hate relationship. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
really nice and sometimes it's just not. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, how can we shift from ego driven rescuing to offering support in a healthier, more balanced way?
One of the best ways is to actually talk to the ego. Okay. We've shunned it for so many years. I mean, I've shunned it most of my life, but the best way is to actually talk to the ego and be like, am I rescuing this person? Nobody can rescue anybody. But anyway, am I rescuing or helping this person because it makes me feel better about me? Okay. Does it uphold an identity that you offered me so I can keep looking at that identity and thinking, wow, I am just so magnificent. Look how great I am. I even did the thing. You ask the ego, is this anything that is offering me to feel wonderful about myself? Does this uphold an identity? And it's very important to write a list of what the identity is that we are dressing up as. You have to write down what is the identity that I am of today. Okay. And they could be all great qualities. Please don't write the bad ones. These we all know, you hear them all day. Write the good ones, the qualities that you announce, the qualities that you know inside, the qualities that you're proud of. Write them down and just check with yourself. Egoic, 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 egoic. Okay, not egoic, actually. This just feels true, but I never announce it. So it must be truth. Okay. So now I'm going about to rescue someone. Am I going to benefit? Is there any benefit to me doing this? Not at all. Will it make me feel better about who I am? Not at all. Will it uphold my I'm kind title or I'm a healer title? Not at all. Then it is not ego driven. If it gives you nothing in return, okay, no, like, If it gives you nothing in return, then it's not ego driven, if that makes sense. Which sounds like the opposite. Like if you're an empath, pour your light on you. That's different. It's a different language there. The ego driven to rescue. What am I getting in return? So when we rescued our parents when we were little, okay, there was a return. We wanted to feel safe. Why do I want mom to be happy? Why was it so important mom had to be happy? Like, oh my God, I wish this woman would just be happy. Here, I'll suck in all your energy and I'll fix it inside of me. Why? It's not because of our great hearts. It's just simply because we didn't feel safe. There was a return. The ego was panic stricken, right? We didn't feel safe in this environment. So if she can be happy, then I can feel safe to be who I want to be. But I can't be who I want to be because I don't feel safe because the consequences are freaky, right? So at
Wow.
the end, very end result is my ego benefiting in any way possible? Then it's ego driven. So I'm rescuing someone because of that ego, because I need a hit. I need to remember, like my ego needs to remember how wonderful it is.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Hey.
So,
Well, that was amazing. Those are all of my questions. Is there any last pieces you want to add to this before I wrap it up?
yes, I just want to say one thing. This does not mean hate the ego. Think of it seriously. It's even younger than a 5-year-old. Think of it as it has no knowledge, no experience of divinity, of light, of unconditional love. It's never received it, doesn't know what it means. It just knows what egoic love looks like, right? People calling out, like, oh, you're such a good person. I'm such a good person. Like, that's all it knows, right? And please make sure that you don't start to freak out from the ego and start to panic, like, okay, is this coming from the ego or is it not? It's a very simple question. What is my benefit out of this? Will this make me feel better? And if it will make you feel better and your ego better, you can still do it. Like there's nothing wrong with making your ego feel better but you're conscious. All you need to do is you're consciously aware. I'm doing it because it makes my ego feel better. And that's okay. Please, no, that's okay. You just have to be conscious. You want the ego to know I see you and I'm doing it because I know it'll make you feel better, but that's how I want to feel today. So I'm consciously doing it. That's the only difference. So just because I don't want people to start freaking out and, oh my God, we have to punish the ego or keep pouring light on it, it's allowed to exist, and don't hate yourself for it. And just be like, you know what? Egoically, I did want that compliment. Egoically, I did want to feel better. I was feeling like shit. Egoically, that's how I wanted to feel. Egoically, yes, I wanted revenge. Revenge egoically. It's not fair what happened to me. I wanted revenge. I am consciously aware. I want revenge and I'm consciously choosing to pursue it instead of unconsciously and blaming it
Wow.
on the other person.
Feels very empowering. Feels good.
Yes. Yes.
Good place to be. Being intentional. And I just want to intentionally live my life. Everything I'm doing, it's not like a right or wrong with it. It's just like, what's your intention? Like if someone's like, oh, is this a good idea or a bad idea? I don't know. What's your intention? Then we can
Yeah.
talk.
Yes.
Oh, this is amazing. Wow. This was an incredible episode. I got a ton out of it. I hope you listeners, I'm sure you did as well. We all might need to listen to this one a couple times to let it like really sink in because this hits everything. So, and dear empath, you are incredible. You are the light that this world needs. So just hopefully these little episodes help you remember who you are and just come back to more self-love and acceptance of you. And then just don't forget that we have an incredible gift for you. It's a 3-minute daily ritual to just help you check in with yourself. So we just want you guys to check that out if you haven't already. We have that in the description for you to click on the link. If you're feeling off, it's a way to get you back on track. So just a small thing you can do to take care of yourself. And we would love to be YouTube friends. We love growing our YouTube friends, those that really connect with us and vibe with us. Give us a thumbs up. If you love this episode, please share it. Um, and yeah, subscribe to our episodes so we can stay connected with each other. And if you found lots of value in this and this was able to support you, we created a Buy Me a Coffee account. It's just a platform where you can donate to help us grow and keep doing what we love and to keep creating this content. And we also have Rain has some beautiful information on there, some ebooks and e-guides that you can get as well. And so you can purchase one of those that can help support you, support us, and keep the flow going. Oh, and I want you guys to leave a comment on your key takeaway in this video. What did you get from this? There was so much. I really would love to hear what your like key thing, the nugget was for you, and to share that with us. And then know too, a lot of times in these, if you guys have questions or comments if you leave a comment and connect with us, we will create videos as you're seeing for those comments. So you might get a video just for you to really help you have even more shifts. So that's how much we love you and truly want to connect with you. We hope you feel that and see that here with what we're creating. Ooh, and if you want to connect in a more intimate setting, we have created a private group. It's our little connection lounge. So we're building an online platform. It's not created quite yet. So it's a private Facebook group right now that we have temporarily, where you can connect with other women, having fun together, and being able to just connect on a deeper level with us. You get more of our time and one-on-one attention. And ooh, let's do the angel card. Let's end with that. Rain.
All right. So, our angel card for the week that you're going to hold close to your heart, and you're going to allow this angel card, let's say, to be your affirmation, your mantra, your to go to. Oh my God. Strength. Oh my God. You got strength. So, all of us are going to walk with strength. And what's interesting in the picture, she has her back leaning on a tree. So look at the angel leaning on the tree trunk. Look how big the tree trunk is. So strength, it feels like a representation of that, the groundedness, the roots in the earth. You are the bark itself, like windstorms, hurricanes, whatever. You're so large and the bark is so big and you're so grounded and there's so much strength in your ability to hold the leaves and to hold the branches and to stay into the earth. You're like the bark part, which is very interesting, the middle part. So find your strength. Um, all of this week, every time you feel like, oh, I'm depleted and then call upon the angel of strength to be right next to you. And that's your angel card for the week.
It's perfect. Thank you. Thank you all for being a part of this, and we'll see you on the next episode.